inspire traders who want to take this seriously. Obviously, I like cars. That's just something I've loved forever. Yeah. But it's not I'm not the have a Lambo, Mr. Douchebag by my course. That's not who I want to be known by. That's not what I support.
Yeah.
So for me, I'd rather have people such as yourself. You're a hardworking man. You really make money trading. You benefited from learning yourself, learning with us. That's the type of person I want to have on here.
I love the different characters you have on there. I mean, Grizzly's Mr. Laid Back, like chill.
He's so cool, man.
I don't know if he's on, meds or what. He's just like, whatever, I gotta go.
The most chill.
The most chill. And then Brandon's a little high strung, and I don't see GD too much, but and Greg, I don't trade too much with Greg. He's too close to open, and too scalpy.
It'll be a minute in, and he'll just rip longs and shorts.
No, I don't want to do that yet.
To myself, I can't for the first 15 minutes, man.
I know you preach that all the time.
I really can. I just looking at my data over the past few years, I don't trade with an edge in the first 15 minutes.
Yeah. Well, you know yourself. That's great.
I would rather wait, let price settle a little bit, and be able to look at it and say, this is my risk, this is my reward, not opening first 5 minutes when price is acting like
especially with NQ. You get crushed quick.
Crushed.
You'll wipe out accounts in a hurry, which I don't understand. If you've got a $22,000 pay down, max your loss at $350 or whatever. So you have 6 trades before you go out, right? And if you're 50%, you should never blow an account.
Yep.
In theory, right? If you do,
you would think.
I mean, it's math. I mean, it's simple math. I think I've blown like 17 accounts, 15 accounts. That's it.
That's great.
Because I got stupid one day and said, well, what the hell? Let's see what happens. And market said, don't do that.
Yep. I'll show you what happens.
Yeah. So, how many of these kids, or these young people, trade on the sim like religiously, do back testing religiously, spend an hour or two reviewing their day, journaling, going back, replaying the day. If they do the replay, option.
Yep.
And look and see what they did, what they missed, what they could have missed. Look at screenshots of, A+ setups. What does that look like? Could you get that visual? We're guys. We see.
Yep.
We see it, then we'll recognize it, which is why the screen time's so critical.
Yep.
Guys think they can get on there and trade and copy Grizz and walk away with $50,000 and say that. I mean, you're not a trader. That's not trading.
Yep. And the second something goes wrong, you're in trouble.
Yeah, and they blame Team Bull, which is insane.
Blame me.
Right? Who hit the button? What? Right? But no one. They're too young to take responsibility.
Yep. So going into your journey, I guess how long have you been trading for? What's your experience in the market? And I guess tell me about yourself and how you got started and how you ended up here.
Well, I've been in the commercial real estate business my whole career as a profession, but I was also in the financial markets as well, because we did lending for large commercial, institutional sized commercial properties and buildings all around the country, all over the country. I ran Cushman & Wakefield for a while on their debt side.
Wow.
And
did you work finance for commercial real estate, or what did you do?
Just debt, just loans and equity, which is down payment, right?
Okay.
You buy a $20 million building, you need $5 million in equity. I would provide up to 90% of that in some cases. So I also was in the financial markets with my own business as well, because we did debt structuring, which is a fancy way of saying if you had a loan, you were in not good terms, we could help you with the terms. That ended up working into trading, because we were in the financial markets all day, and I thought this is another opportunity to create a channel in our business. So we started doing that. And a few years ago, my son told me about prop firms. He said, Dad, I'm doing this, and it's very profitable. You should take a look at it. And I said, okay, I will. And so I started slow, got to know the business, got to understand the nuances and, what works, what doesn't work, and then started crafting a business plan. I created an LLC because I treat it like a business, not a hobby. I'm not in it for the dopamine hit, right?
And this was 3 years ago you got into prop firms?
3 years ago.
And your son is a profitable trader too.
Very profitable.
Very
He's
profitable.
6-figure a year trader.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And that's an hour a day. Then that's it.
Is that his style? Trades the first hour of
First
open?
hour, that's it. He's done. Actually doesn't trade till after the first 15 or 30 minutes, then he'll trade
like
for
me.
an hour. Yeah, he'll trade for an hour after the 15 or 30 minutes, and he's done. He's always 1 or 2 trades a day. That's it. He said, I got a setup. I took it. I'm profitable. I'm good. Rarely has red days.
That's awesome.
Because he's just too picky. He said, if I don't like it, I won't take it. And like I've said in Team Bull, day trading doesn't mean you got to trade every day. That doesn't work. You have to wait for the right setup. Anyway, getting back. So I looked at that and I thought, all right, I'm going to treat prop firms like a client, right? They're providing me services. What am I going to do with those services and create a business and apply the dopamine, discipline over dopamine like I've had my whole life. And it just became more and more profitable. And I thought, okay, it takes time, hours and hours and hours and hours in front of the screen. And it's become something I do every day. And you see me on the Discord. And
you're so consistent, man.
I know.
That's what really made me notice you is you're not posting these flashy gains if it's super easy or 10,000 plus a day, but you are so consistent with. I've seen you have a handful of red days total this year.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know if I can't even recall one. I'm sure there's been a few.
There's been several.
But you're so consistent with your green days and making your money and locking it up.
Yeah. Well, I'm being very genuine when I tell you, I think a lot of the discipline I've gotten has been following you and Grizzly and Green Eyes. Green Eyes specifically, he's the one who told me through DM, take your profit and go home, which was nice of him to do because he's busy as well. He's got a business. And so I took that to heart. It's like we said, like in a casino, you think if you're up $3,000, you have house money, let's go ahead and play with house money no, take your 3,000, go home, go to the gym. Because if you're building it like a business and you have a family, then take your payday and go home. Don't give it back. Giving it back doesn't make sense. So I rarely take more than 2 trades a day. If I have 2 losses, I'm done.
Me too.
Like done. I'm shutting it off. I'm shutting down Ninja Trader. I'm just done. You have to do that. Down goes the lid.
Yep.
But if I'm green, I'm good. I'm a little different than a lot of, like Grizzly will trim on the way up. I'll add in on the way up.
You like to average in.
I average in.
Interesting.
And I move my stop loss accordingly. But I'm quick to trim too. So I might start with one contract. And if I see it starting to move the direction we want, and I think there's a lot of room, I think there's a lot of, maybe it's a 40, 50, 60 point trade based on my analysis, and we're 20 or 25 points in, I'll add in and take it from there and trim on the way up. But always I adjust my stop loss because now I've doubled my risk. So I move my stop loss.
Yeah, and that makes sense when you average in. That's not the style I trade, but I've seen a lot of very profitable traders trade that style. Mm-hmm. It gives you that leeway to where if you average in, if the trade reverses, you won't get that initial trim off for profit. But on the flip side, you bought yourself that extra, what do you call it? That extra risk area where you can afford those extra 25 points of loss.
Well, I'll move my stop loss into profit.
Okay.
Quickly, like 10 points, 12 points, whatever, depending on like half the ups, how far up it's moved.
Okay. So if you're up 25 points, add in, you'll add your stop loss up 12.5 points or so.
Up to 10 or 12 points in profit.
Got it.
So I'm going to keep half of my gains. And then I'll trim that extra add in pretty quickly at some point. It starts losing a little bit of momentum. I'm like, okay, I'm getting this sense that we're heading to a high day or pre-market high or whatever, a level or a fair value gap that may hit and come off of, and just start trimming out.
That's awesome.
Sure. And I've been trading micros lately as well too. It gives me a lot more flexibility. Like I might start with 10 or 15 or 20 micros, but I'll trim 5. And if I want to trim on it's supposed to add averaging, I'll trim 5, 5, 5, like you guys do as well. I think that's a smart way to go, and move my stop loss as well.
It's a game changer for your psychology too.
Yeah.
The ability to not be stuck to one or two minis. Why not just trade 10 or 20 micros? Because then if it gets to a point where you want to take part of it off and then let the rest ride, you have that ability.
Right.
You can also split that mini into 3 different portions. Say you want to you have 3 different profit targets. Mm-hmm. With a mini, if you have one mini, you can sell it and you're done.
Yeah, you're stuck.
With 10 micros, you could sell 3, wait another 10, 20, 30 points, sell another 3.
Right.
And then let the last 3 or 4, run all day.
Right.
Or set your stops to, trailing or break even.
If you only have 1 or 2 minis, you're in or out. You're up or down. You're done. You have no flexibility.
That's 100%. Something that really helped me, man. I've been probably seen making 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 a day every single day on the live account and my fundeds. I've been trading more fundeds lately too, and it's almost always micros.
Yeah,
almost always.
I don't post my live account.
Oh, have you been trading the live account too?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, if it's an A++ setup, and I'm convicted, I'll go with my live account. If it's A+, not A++, I'll go with props. Right. So I go back and forth.
And this year with props, if you're comfortable sharing, how much have you taken in payouts, or what's a ballpark range of what you've made in payouts?
Well over 6 figures.
Over 6 figures.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
I've been trading with a combination of Top Step, Take Profit, and MFF.
You trade Apex too?
I don't like Apex anymore. I mean, it's
besides them banning your son after making
and others
a ton of money
and others. I just think I don't know. I've thought about going back. I've thought about I did the trailing drawdown just in the very beginning. I didn't care for it. I didn't learn as well as I should have. I may go back. I like the 20 account trade copy.
I think for traders like us, Apex is the best for scalability.
Right.
As long as you don't get banned.
Right.
And I say that as obviously I'm an affiliate of Apex, and I've been testing them out. I like a lot of their trading conditions. I like the scalability. I like the 20 accounts.
Right.
The trailing drawdown is tough. But if you have the ability to scale those accounts up and take $1,000 a payout in 20 accounts, if you can handle the emotions that come with having 20 accounts, you can scale that like crazy.
Well, that's why I was able to take a lot of payouts last year, because I was trading 20 accounts. And
you were trading Apex last year?
I was trading Apex.
Nice.
So I was 1,000 account. I took 20 just pretty regularly.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I think, like we talked about before, if you just do simple math and treat it like a business, like if you know your max trade drawdown is 2,000, then just divide it by whatever number you want. I divide it by 6, so max loss on a trade is going to be 350, or 335, whatever the number works out to be, just under 2,000, and that's how I trade. And I never, and repeat, never move my stop loss, never. That's
no matter what.
Hard is hard. It's just hard. If I lose, I lose. I'm not attached to the outcome, because my work's been done when I hit the buy or sell button, and then the market takes it from there. And I can't control that. I'll manage the ups, but the stop loss I never move, because it's a calculated stop loss. It isn't random.
That's great.
Yeah.
So you said you started a few years ago?
Yes.
Would that have been around age 65?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Thanks for disclosing
No,
that.
it's super cool. I think it's fascinating, because people will be in their 40s or 50s and they'll come to me and say, Jacob, is it too late for me? Am I too late to start trading? And we have someone like you that, I thought you were 50 years old. You look like it. You look great.
Thanks.
That you mentioned that you're 68. You started in your 60s and you're killing it. And I think that's a huge source of inspiration for people that haven't started at 40, haven't started at 50, and think, is it too late for me?
Well, it's interesting.
It's not.
Yeah, I think it's interesting you say that, because I think as you mature professionally, you should be more prepared to trade as you get older than when you're younger. You're younger, your dopamine hits far more important than when you're older. Like, I'd rather make a truckload of money than worry about if there's a Lambo or whatever, or Flash, whatever. So I think I've leveraged my business acumen over a 45 year career to apply those principles to trading, because they're very applicable, right? They apply, and treat it like a business, And I think older people, if they don't, they're losing it. They're missing an opportunity. I think like any business, it's very difficult to be a sole entrepreneur. I think what I mean by that is you need support. I think any good professional has a strong support team around them, like a Discord where you are in a community. I think and this is not meant to be commercial, but I think the overall collective intelligence in Team Bowl is extraordinary. I've seen a lot of I've experimented with other Discords, and they are not the same. I mean, you've collected a group of traders that are just world class, and
means a lot. Thank you.
Yeah, no, seriously. I mean, everyone's very transparent. There's no nonsense. We don't worry about things that are not important to the community and to trading and making money. We keep it professional and on course and on track, and no one goes off on tangents. You've done a great job bringing on disciplined people, disciplined members of the community that are there to make a lot of money. And I think as I've gotten older, that I understand the value of community and the value of having like-minded people around me as a business person, as a Christian, as a father, as a man. We men like to think we can do it alone. We can't. If we do it alone, my cliche is we'll drive the bus into the ditch. Don't do it alone. We always want to have that guy you call at 2 a.m. and say, hey, I need you here at the front door in 20 minutes. And I think that community brings a lot of that kind of value because everyone's like-minded. And everyone wants to lift everyone else up, and everyone's there to help everyone else. There's no Lone Rangers. There's no one's there to pound their own chest. They're all there for the community, which is super important.
And trading can be so lonely at times, man.
Yes. Well, I mean, I think what's surprising to a lot of people is trading can be boring. I mean, you got to wait. And sometimes you wait all morning and you're not taking a trade. Yeah.
In hindsight, it should be. Because if it's exciting, I mean, obviously you're going to win trades and be happy about a 100-point trade on NQ or great execution. But if you're always looking for fun in trading, that equates to looking for dopamine, which typically equates to losing over time.
Yeah, I think if a young guy or any trader for that matter is out there and they hit the button and their heart's pounding, probably not a good idea to be sitting there right now in that situation.
Yep.
Is probably not confident in the trade, or they're afraid of the outcome as opposed to saying, I'm detached from the outcome. Whatever happens, happens. My loss is set. I know my maximum loss, and I'm going to manage my trade on the way up, trim or add or average in as on the way up as I see fit based on my my thoughts on the trade and the setup, and just go from there.
You know what's funny about you saying that is the last man I had on here, daily on Team Bull Trader, is a little younger. He's 22. So
a little younger.
Way younger than even me. I turned 29 in 6 days, May 8th. And he had mentioned that he took a trade on NQ. He's been trading micros. He finally decided, I'm going to take a trade on NQ. Clicked that buy button, felt his heart start pounding, said, nope, closed it down, back to micros.
Yeah.
And I told him that's a huge moment of maturity as a trader, because you could have looked at it and said, oh, this is fun. I got the adrenaline rushing. I got my dopamine hitting.
Yeah.
I'm seeing the P&L swing up and down. But instead, he said, nope, I felt the emotion. I felt my heart rate increase. He closed the trade, went back to micros.
Well, to your point, I think to segue to a different but similar or relevant point, I think anyone who doesn't have a plan and a daily structure, like looking at charts when you get up in the morning, figuring out where the bias is, where your levels are, what you think the day is going to provide, if it's a no news day or if it's a big news day, or what day of the week it is. I'm not keen on Mondays either, like you. Fridays are always rip it days. I'm not real big on that either, unless you're a trend guy. I think if you don't approach it like that, then you're just winging it, and winging it's never a good idea. Never a good idea. Got to have a plan. There's no sense. Otherwise, it's just gambling.
I'm sure that's part of your SOPs for Trading business. Always have to have a plan.
Always.
Stop loss is always set.
Always. And over time, see, I think what young guys what a lot of traders don't understand is this is a long game.
Especially young guys.
They
especially
they
don't
want to
get
hit it hard right now, right? And to me, success is in large numbers, right? Over a long period of time, over a large number of trades. Sure, you might lose 3, 4, 5 in a row. That's okay. That's one day. It's not going to end your career. But over a long period of time, you got to commit 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, and look and see what the end result is. If you stick to the plan, like we said, stick to the stop loss, stick to trade setups, and don't deviate. Continue to journal, continue to back test, stick with your strategy. How many guys, they go from Discord to Discord because they're looking for the holy grail of strategies. Don't do that. That's stupid.
There is none.
Because you just crash and burn every single time. Go to a Discord, find a trader you like, figure out a strategy, back test it till you're blue in the face, and trade it and stick with it. And with discipline over dopamine, you'll be profitable. I mean, look, if you're doing a 2 RR and you're 50% to the good, you're profitable. If you're 50% win rate, you're making money, but you have to do it over a long period, over large numbers.
And that's where discipline over dopamine, in my opinion, really comes in. Because there's a million strategies out there.
Yeah.
You can go on YouTube, you can go on Kajabi, wherever you get your education from.
Yeah.
And all the strategy is out there.
Right.
But what I can't make you do, or what the next teacher can't make you do, and pretty much what no one but you can make you do, is look at that person in the mirror and stay disciplined. To not have that blow up day. You can be at a 2R, 3R average for your risk reward. Doesn't matter if you blow up once a month and give it all back.
Right.
And that's where discipline really comes in. And in my opinion, and why I think that trading, in my eyes, isn't 90% psychology until it is. Because you can't trade without strategy. You could get David Goggins in here, one of the most disciplined men in the world. Mm-hmm. Navy SEAL, absolute badass. Mm-hmm. But the thing is that assuming he doesn't know how to trade, if you bring him in with no chart skills, he's not going to make money. If he learns the chart skills, learns his edge, learns his system, then applies the discipline that he's built in his daily life to that, he's going to make and keep a lot of money.
Right.
But if you're consistently blowing up once a month, once every 2 months, once a week, whatever it is, there's no chance you make and keep the money you make over, such as you said, a long period of time.
You have to commit a long time. And to your point about David Goggins, who I read his book, and he's an extraordinary man. You had mentioned early on about older people and they think it's too late. It may be too late to bodybuild, or maybe too late to do other things.
Not too late for you to bodybuild.
No.
Get jacked.
But my point is, David Goggins has a skill set that could apply to trading. And there's a lot of very, very successful business people and older people like me who have a skill set they could apply to trading and be very successful with it. If you're successful, and I don't care what the industry was, real estate or any sales or anything, if you're successful, it's because you had a plan and you had a certain way you did your business, and take that and apply it to trading. And you should have at least a very good start, right? You're starting with a skill set that young guys don't have.
Yep.
I think young guys are at a disadvantage in a lot of ways.
I do too.
Yeah.
So the more experience you have in life with different situations, with different knowledge, you can learn all of that can be applied to your trading.
100%.
To your trading success,
100%.
just as you just said.
And I think trading teaches you phenomenal life lessons. It teaches you to have a plan. It teaches you to prepare, to not be so emotionally wrapped up in the result. I don't take a losing trade personally at all. It's just, it didn't work out. Okay, next.
Yep.
It is. I don't. To me, it's a trade. It's not a good trade or bad trade. It's a trade. And so after we're done, for about 30 minutes after I get off, I quickly journal what am I thinking? How am I feeling? How did that session make me feel? I'll look at the trades I placed or not, if I had a no trade day, which is not unusual. And what was good about it, what was bad about it, what could I do better, what did I do right in my journal, and then back test it at the end of the day, and go back and look at it and think, okay, and just tweak. It's always tweaking. It's always improving 1% at a time, 1% every day, a little bit better every day.
And especially when the market isn't linear, it has ups, it has downs, and I'm not talking about price movement. Obviously, we have bull markets, we have bear markets, we have sideways markets. But with what strategies work, with what works on a day-to-day basis, it's never going to be the same thing year over year. Yep. What works for you today likely won't work in the same fashion next year. You'll have to make some tweaks. What works next year might not work in 2026 or 2027. It's all about finding what's working, analyzing your data, and as you said, tweaking the system to keep the ball rolling, to keep the money coming in.
And I think one of the beauty of trading that I think a business person, a professional might want to keep in mind is that when you're in a profession and if you're selling something and that product isn't selling well, you don't have a lot of options, right? In the trading world, you always have an opportunity. I've always said, someone would say to me, does it matter, Jay, if it's a Republican or Democrats in the White House or what's going on? I said, I don't care who's in the White House. All I know is I want to be on the right side of the trade. That's all I care about. I want to know if it's a good trade, if it's profitable. I don't care if we're buying or selling, because in the trading world, there's always movement. There's always an opportunity. It's not like
I love that.
The market's not providing an opportunity. There's always an opportunity.
I love that.
So we're not subject to our product not selling or our clients not renewing or new clients coming in. We have an opportunity every single day. You have to approach it like that.
Now, speaking of strategy, I know it can be tough to explain strategy via words, but if you had to break it down between your own personal journey and Team Bull, what have you learned most in your trading, and how would you describe your strategy to someone looking to learn? How do you trade on a day-to-day basis? What do you look for as far as risk reward goes?
Yep.
What solidifies an entry? What are your confirmations? What is your strategy?
So I would tell people that I'm not any different than anyone else out there, right? I went through the same, maybe shorter time frame than most, but I went through the same evolution. I thought I started with a clean screen, then I put on like a whole bunch of indicators. I looked like a maze, and now all I have on there is VWAP, the 9 and 21 EMAs.
Let's use EMAs too.
And that's it. Occasionally I'll look and see where there's fair value gaps if there's a big one, but you can see it in the chart over time. And then I look for pre-market high and low and current day high and low, and I like the 15-minute orb all day. Friday,
great strategy, huh?
Friday it played beautifully. Friday was beautiful.
That was awesome.
It was like textbook.
And the market's really been respecting, not to veer off, but really been respecting the 15-minute, 5-minute high close and the 15-minute low 5-minute close.
It's been beautiful.
Whatever way the market trends, whether it's higher or lower, below or above that level, it has been. Just had that dad strength, what we call it in voice.
Yeah, right. I know.
Just had a magnet above it, pulling it either higher or lower. It's crazy.
I just look for supply and demand, look at the levels, and watch volume. And I don't necessarily use the EMAs on a per trade basis. I just like to see where they are relative to the price. And over the last few years, you get an intuition about it. You've seen so many setups, so many days, so much screen time. You can just see. I mean, you have that intuition as well. You've been trading for 3 times longer than me.
That's the part that is so tough to explain to a beginner,
right.
But is so true for anyone who feels it and goes through that transition of getting that confidence and getting that conviction when you enter, is that you can pay for all the education in the world.
Yeah.
What you can't pay for is that intuition and that confidence that comes from seeing the setup happen 100 times, 500 times, 1,000 times. But when you see that setup happen over and over and over again, whether it's upside, downside, using an EMA, a fair value gap, you get that feeling of extreme confidence that you can enter, Your risk is defined.
Yes.
And you can hold to your price targets.
Yep. You know, it's interesting. This sounds very woo-woo, but sometimes I'll have a setup. It's coming. I see it. It's exactly what I might want. And something inside of me says, don't do that. And I don't. And it doesn't work out. And I don't know what that is, that intuition. Like, something's telling me, whether it's God or the universe or karma, I don't do that. And I don't take it. And a scary number of times it works out that it was probably a good decision not to take that. Because you don't need to take them all, right? That's to think you need to take all your setups that present themselves is crazy.
I always say we're not playing Pokemon. It's not catch 'em all.
Right, exactly. I'll catch 1 or 2 a day and that's it. And sometimes they're great, and sometimes, look, I've had green days where I'm literally under $1,000, which for a lot of guys is a great day. You know, $400, $500, $600. I think anything green is good. Green is good. I don't care about the number. I just want to be green and know that I took the right trades, and you know, I followed my plan. I didn't tilt. I didn't overtrade. I didn't take that extra trade, and I just go.
I always reference the sign over there. You know, if you put the small numbers in perspective, even $200 a day is $50K a year.
Right.
$400 a day is $100K extra a year.
Right.
I mean, imagine whether you're in your 20s or 60s or 80s or 50s, whatever age you are. I don't think anyone's complaining about an extra $100K a year.
And to that point, I think it's a great reminder. I would tweak that a little bit. And let me tell you what I mean. I think that guys just getting into business, just getting in trading, should not worry about how much they're making.
Completely agree.
Don't worry about it. This is not a time to worry about revenue and profit and how much you make. Learn your craft. Learn your business. You should be on the sim trading for a long time before you hit the prop firms up for accounts and start trading. You've really got to go in, if possible, if you can financially spend the time to not making money and learn your business, then that's so much. Then you'll be able to. It's so much better to be able to hit those kind of numbers. If you don't know what you're doing, then you know you're wasting your money, wasting your time.
And it's similar if you wanted to open a restaurant and be the head chef of that restaurant.
Right.
You wouldn't go find a storefront, open the restaurant, and then decide you were going to learn how to cook then and there.
Right, exactly.
You'd spend a year or two in culinary school, learn what you're good at cooking, learn what you like cooking, learn what you're not so good at cooking.
Right.
Learn the skill, then open the storefront and put the risk on. Because once you open the storefront, the bills start rolling in.
Well, these guys come in and they have business. They're doing something for work. What was it like the first day versus the 6 months out? It's significantly different. This is no different. Treat it the same way. This is a job. This is a business. This is not a hobby. This is not a look at me on Discord how good I am. Yep. I could give. Now and then I wonder if I should really post my gains. I know you want me to, and I want to, but
I think it's cool to see. But
I don't want people to think that, you know, oh, he's making it look easy. But I really try to say to younger guys and other people who are trading, there is an opportunity here. Treat it seriously. Don't treat it like a hobby. And I think Friday was $7 or $8 grand, something like that.
It's casually $7, $8 grand,
something like that. I think I took 3 trades, which was unusual, but I actually entered a trade, got out, and thought, this has got more legs, and I got back in. So I call that 2 trades. I got back in, and it kept ripping. I said, okay, that worked out. Then I shut it down.
When you see a trade has quote unquote more legs, what does that mean for you? Obviously, it means you think it has more in it, but what do you see in the chart that makes you think this has more room to run? Is it the 5-minute? Is it the EMAs, the hourly chart? What do you see?
It's all the above. If I see a trade, I'm already charting, I'm already putting in my stop loss and my take profit, right? What a lot of traders have a very difficult time getting mentally prepared for is they will religiously move their stop loss because they believe in their trade and they know it's going to come back. I know it's coming back. You know, it just needs a little bit more room, and they get crushed. And it went from $100 stop loss to a $300 stop loss or blown an account.
Yep.
So I rarely move my stop loss. The flip side of that is people apply their take profit, cut it short. I never cut it short.
It's one of the worst mistakes traders can make.
You're leaving money on the table, dude. Don't do that. If you believe in your take profit, trim on the way up. That's fine. Leave a runner or two. Leave 3 micros, 2 micros, whatever it is. But let it go.
And I actually think it's arguable. But in my opinion, it's arguable that it's a worse mistake to cut all of your winners early than it is to have bigger losers. And let me explain why. Is that if you're consistently seeing green, taking green is what I call it.
Yeah.
And every time you see green or every time you have a little profit, you're taking it off the table. You're taking it off the table. The problem is that makes your room for error and your room for losses so small.
Yes.
Whereas if you're having consistent 2, 3 hour, 4 hour days, you have big wins, you can stomach a bigger loss here and there.
Right.
It's going to happen.
Right.
Obviously, the goal for all of us, that I try to scream at people every day, is that you have to manage your losers.
Have to.
You have to have discipline in your losing trades. But at least when you have bigger winners, you have that wiggle room to have a full-size loser.
Right.
To have 2 losers. Or like you said earlier, if you 3 to 5 losses in a row should not wreck you. A majority of new traders, if they have 5 losses in a row, it's over. Their account's blown. And that should never happen for anyone who wants to take this seriously as a career.
Well, to oversimplify it, if you're flipping a coin, it lands heads 5 times, it doesn't mean you stop flipping the coin. You got to keep flipping it. Like I said before, over large numbers, it'll work out. If if your structure's solid, you should be fine. If your plan is solid, it should be fine. But I oversimplify. So if someone buys a stock for $10, they hit $10.50, they sell. I got 50 cents, I'm good. They buy it for $10 and it goes to $9, they go, oh no, this stock will be fine. They keep letting it go instead of selling it. They keep increasing their losers. And that's what I think what happens. If people ask some of these guys how many let their trades go all the way to take profit that they structured in. Rarely will they let it go. They're too afraid of losing. They think their losers are good trades. They're going to stay in them and multiply their losses. They think they're profitable trades. They got to take their profit and run. And I think, unfortunately, a lot of the prop firms have encouraged that scalpy kind of thinking because they're afraid of, their max drawdown and their intraday drawdown. So you tend to need to scalp a little bit more, which is not a great habit to get into, which is why once I passed accounts and went funded with PAs, whatever, I wasn't in it for the quick hit. So at 52, I'd go to 53, 54 and stay there and then take profit after that. So I wasn't under pressure to blow in the account if I took a little bit more, if I let a trade have a little bit more room on the stop loss.
Well, that's the tough part about prop firms that I've noticed too, is that a lot of the rules are designed to be more scalpy, per se, especially with smaller percentage consistency rules.
Right.
With Tradeify, for example, I love Tradeify, but with their straight to fundeds, you have a 20% consistency rule.
Which is hard.
So your biggest day can't be over 20% of your overall profits. You make 2K, you got to make 10K.
Right.
Which makes it really tough to really, if you have a banger trade, you let's say you enter at 100 and you have no drawdown, immediately goes to 120 or 130.
Right.
The prop firms, and 20% consistency makes it so you almost have to sell a majority of that unless you're consistently having those massive trades. If you have a live account and you enter at 100, it's 120 or 130. Your best bet is to trail your stop or set your stop at break even.
Yes.
Maybe take a little off and let that thing run. If it goes to 2, 3, 4, 500, you just hit a massive trade while trailing your stop, and at that point playing with free money.
Right, 100%.
You can't do that with a 20% or 30%
100%
consistency.
I don't like Tradeify just for that reason.
And so that's the tough part about consistency, is that yes, it protects the firm from massive days, whether that's legit or whether that's gambling. The problem is that you have to look at it from a sense of, this is how I'm going to trade my live account.
Yeah.
And this is how I'm going to trade my prop firm.
Right.
For me, there's a clear difference. If I'm on my live account and I have a really good entry, I'm going to let that run as long as I can.
100%.
That's my biggest ever was almost $90,000.
$89,000.
Yeah, $88,800. Thank you, man.
That's cool.
You could not do that on a prop firm with consistency. I mean, you could, but then you would have to You would have to have massive days from there on out, and that's really tough to do.
I think it's important for young guys to look at you at 29, and there's a concept called modeling, which is very simple. Like if someone is very successful, do what they did, you should have essentially the same results. If a young guy really wants to be successful, do what you did, and you should have similar results. If you veer off, then you're not going to have similar results. Look, at the end of the day, I think, like I said before, I started with a whole bunch of indicators, and I drilled down to a couple. My chart's very clean, that intuition. But you become a much better trader keeping it simple, not over trading, not overthinking, sticking to one strategy, getting very good at that strategy, and that's it. And don't worry about anything else. Don't listen to the noise. I don't get you. If you noticed on chat, I don't chat a lot because I'm not. I like to read it. I think it's great. And I love to listen to you guys on stream. I think it's really cool.
You're focused. You're locked in.
I'm looking at the screen.
Yep. I'm
not looking at different things, and I focus on just the admins and Green Eyes, Grizzly, Brandon, GD, and you. And thank you for starting to screen share lately. I think that's super important for for traders to see what you're doing. And by the way, your chart is clean. There's a reason for that.
There's nothing on there.
It's clean, and people should go, oh, what indicators does Jadon use? None.
and occasionally
you'll throw one on there.
I'll have my TOS, through Schwab. That's what I trade. If I'm trading options on, I'll trade there.
Sure.
I have 6 charts up there usually. I'll have VWAP, and besides that, that's it. I'll have VWAP on there. I don't have anything against the 8 or 9 EMA, or I've used the 20 EMA in the past.
Yeah.
Just right now, it hasn't been my edge or my system, so I haven't been using them. I use VWAP occasionally. I like to see if SPY or QQQ or NQ is above or below for trend purposes.
Yeah, sure.
But for the most part, it's just price action and volume.
So I have Ninja Trader over here, and I have Trading View over here. And Trading View, I'll have
2 screens.
I have 4 screens.
4 screens.
Yeah, I'll have. But I have Discord in another one. But I'll have in Trading View, I'll have NQ, QQQ, ES, SPY, and then I have one screen with the magnificent 7 or 8, right? The NQ, big hitters, Tesla. I love you watching Tesla and NVIDIA.
I haven't traded Tesla much this year.
I know, you've been off the individuals for a while.
I traded it a little, what was it, a month, 2 months ago? I mean, I used to trade Tesla every day, man.
You loved it, man.
And put on size to it. It was 5-10K a day just trading Tesla.
Yeah, it was great. It's a nice day.
I know, which may go back to at some point. My edge has just been with NQ. A lot of the traders in Team Bull are trading NQ.
Yeah.
I'm trying to work my way towards some big payouts on the prop firms, not because I prefer trading my own money.
Yeah.
I always have. And fun fact, before I owned a prop firm, I don't own one obviously anymore, but before I owned one, I had never traded a prop firm account. I had never bought a single eval, never.
Really?
Never. Not until a few months ago. First try ever, got a payout with Tradeify, so that was cool.
Yeah.
And
that's cool.
I've been working on some Apex, some Tradeify. I bought some TopStep evals the other day, and I just want to be able to show that because I'm teaching it, I can do it too. I've already shown it with a live account, and I'll keep showing it with a live account, and obviously trading live. But for me, I think that it's cool to be able to show I can leverage these companies and get paid from them too, and what I'm teaching works.
Well, I think one thing that's very critical for a young trader is when they get on Team Bull, if all you're there to do is say when you say Jadon says I'm long, just you don't go buy and then sit back and wait till you say sell or trim, and that's it, and call it a day. It's not sustainable. That's not sustainable. You're there to guide, but not to copy, right? And I think you've done a really good job telling these guys, if you're just here to copy us, don't do that. It's not good for your trading. If you want to learn this as a business, if you're serious, then listen to us, listen to what we're doing, but listen why we're doing it. And so occasionally on chat, like you'll take a trade and I'll say, what was your confirmation? Why did you do that? And you're very good at, you're the best admin in there, and I mean that, and explaining your trades. And you explain them like to the T. Sometimes I have to say, well, why? What was your confirmation by it? Why do you? What were you waiting for? And most of the time, I'm doing that, not to be gratuitous about it, but most of the time I'm doing that for the community more than just me. Like I want to make sure everyone go. If I think a piece of information is missing, I'll ask for it. Just so if I'm asking, I'm sure a lot of other people are asking. I'm the guy who asks instead of not asking. Right?
Absolutely.
So that's why I'll say, Grizzly, why did you take that? What were you waiting for confirmation? And he'll tell me. He's very good about that. Or, why that entry? And he'll say, well, I was at, the low day. I mean, it just tells you. And I think that's super critical for these guys to learn.
Completely.
To learn how to trade, for sure.
And really looking at it from an education standpoint, because if I were to flop over and not trade anymore or die or something, if you were copying every trade I took, you'd be hosed.
Right.
And even say I go on a 100% win streak, 100 trade win streak for the next 100 days. We're doing good. We're at 45 days in a row so far, but that's eventually going to end. So say I lose on Monday or Tuesday. Eventually it's going to happen. I'm going to have a red day. I'm going to have 2 red trades in a row. It's like we mentioned, statistics.
Right.
If you don't know how to manage your own risk or manage your emotions when that happens, or when I go on a cold streak, or when you forget to sell when I sell, whatever the situation may be, you're going to be in a world of hurt.
Well, like you said before, if you're hitting the buy or sell button and your power's pounding, you're probably not in a good place. If I take a trade, if it's red or green, my first word in my mind is next. I'm not attached to the outcome. And I know that's very, very difficult when you're talking about money, because people have a mindset about money. Money is a tool. Money isn't I don't judge myself as an individual based on how I trade and whether I'm profitable or not. To me, it's a business. If my business is profitable, great. If it's not, that's fine. But I'm applying, my strategies. I don't always take. I use some of the call outs on trading on Team Bowl as confirmation that I think I'm in the right place too. I'm almost like collaborating with you guys, watching and listening. Say, yeah, I see that. I was thinking that too. And like you do, Grizz will say, I'm doing this. You're like, yeah, I'm seeing that too. And Brandon's off. It's you guys are really collaborating and kind of confirming each other's positions, which I think is super important. So that's what I'm there for, is to think, okay, these guys, I'm right there with them, and we're like-minded. We're seeing the same things, and it's really not hard at the end of the day. I know that's not what young people want to hear, young traders want to hear, but it took years to get here. Right, first year it was ugly.
I was gonna that was my next question for you. Is obviously you're doing incredible now.
Yeah.
But what were some hardships you went through? How was your first year? Did you ever have a point where you thought you might want to quit? Did you ever take a loss bigger than you expected? What were some hard times you went through before getting to these good days?
Well, I mean, I had a very long, successful career, so I thought I'm very good at what I do, and this should be not easy, but I should do well. I had unrealistic expectations. I thought, I'm just going to get in here, learn a few things, and I'll be good to go. And there's some nuances in the trading business that I think, like I said before, if you want to do this, get on Team Bowl, get on your sim account, and learn. So in the very beginning, I didn't understand prop firm rules as well as I should have to be able to trade around them. Like everyone else, I thought indicators were the holy grail. I need a whole bunch of indicators. I didn't need that. And it took me a while to get to where I was confident enough to know if I took 1 or 2 trades a day, I'm done. I'm done. If you've got a chart and you've got, arrows for trades all over the place, probably not a good idea to do that, right? So
tough to sustain.
It's very hard. So, like I said before, if I take 2 L's, I'm done. In the beginning, I didn't do that. I thought, well, I'll just stick around and another trade will show up and I'll get it back or whatever. It shouldn't be about getting it back. It's just every trade is independent of each other. Right?
Yep.
And that's it. So at the end of the day, it's the same thing you in the community is preaching, right? Less indicators is better, more screen time. Trade on your sim until you're confident. Don't get over your skis. Don't think that if you had a $10,000 day, it's you. It's not. It's just your strategy worked, and you just happen to be, the market came to you, and don't think you're all that. So I don't think I'm a good trader. I just think I'm a consistent trader.
When did you decide that you were going to open your own live account? Because I think, and the reason I ask this is that, you came in, you had a very successful career. Mm-hmm. A lot of people in your shoes will come in and say, hey, I got 50K, I got 100K to put in an account and play with.
Yeah.
Well, most of the time they start that account, they end up losing it.
Right.
So I think it's a great idea for traders, if they're coming in, if they have a nice nest egg, if they have 50, 100K, a million, whatever they have, to instead of putting that in an account, come in with A, trading prop firms.
Right.
Or B, I always recommend people 2 to 5K. I don't care if you have 50K. If you can't trade 5K, you can't trade 50. That's the reality of trading. And I fully believe if you can't build a small account, you have no business trading a large account.
You said in Team Bull all the time. And I think it's spot on. I think about 6 or 8 months in, I decided I would go with a live account. I remember hearing several people in Team Bull saying they went in, blew 10 grand in a day, put in another 10 grand, blew that in a day, and they're 100 grand, $200,000, $300,000 in, and they're done, and they quit. So if it's my hard-earned money, I don't care if it's 2 or 5,000 or 200,000. It's my money, and I apply the same rules, same stop losses, same top take profits, certain percentage of my overall account, same rules. And so I wasn't until I was really sure, I can sustain this at this point. So I'm going to go ahead and open my own account, strictly for futures.
And that's the interesting part about trading is that you almost decide what your tuition is.
Sure.
It's similar to going to college, and instead of knowing, hey, I'm going in-state tuition here, it's $20K a year, it's $30K a year, you can make your tuition $5,000, you can make your tuition $500,000.
Right.
It's all up to your discipline and your decision-making, because if you decide that you're going to go against people's advice and that you're going to learn faster and you put in 100K to an account, blow it, another 100K, blow it, and do that over and over again, you're going to be paying hundreds of thousands in tuition. If you decide to start with prop firms or 2 to 5K, you can learn slowly with that and get your tuition on discount.
Well, I think anyone who thinks they can start with a $10,000 futures account and trade it live without having the background as a trader is give the 10 grand to me, because you're going to blow it. I mean, that's stupid. But you put it on a table and put a match to it. I think take
it to Vegas.
Yeah, right. The responsible thing to do is learn your craft, get on a Discord, get in a community, learn, shut up, have a burning desire to understand your craft, get better at it, and be prepared to be able to trade your own money. But it's, if you want to blow the money, go right ahead. And that's not a good plan in my view, right? I mean, that's obvious. I'm being facetious, but you just got to treat it, like I said in the beginning, you just got to treat it like a business. And if you do that and you're disciplined, as an older guy, discipline is very important, right? I've been going in the gym literally probably 5 or 6 days a week for 50 years. And it's small improvements every single day. I will improve the rest of my life. It's a lifelong endeavor. I have a burning desire to live, a burning desire to learn, a burning desire to love. And I love God, I love my family, and I love my community that I'm involved in every single day. I love to trade because it's a great business. If you're good at it, where else can you learn your craft over, I don't know, a year or two, whatever it is, and start making, this kind of money. And you always have an opportunity because you just need to be on the right side of the trade. Like I said before, every day is an opportunity. I look at it like that every day. And some days there are no opportunities, so it's a no trade day, and that's fine too. I have no problem with that whatsoever.
Yep.
It's not like I've lost an opportunity. I'm like, I didn't go red. I'm good.
And even if you have a day where you don't take any trades, but you miss 2 of your setups or 3 of your setups, FOMO kills a lot of traders.
Yeah.
It kills trading accounts. I'd say probably one of the top 3 mistakes traders make is taking trades out of FOMO, tilt, and revenge trading.
Yeah.
And the thing that you have to remember is that those same 2 setups that you missed today are going to happen hundreds of more times. But you won't have an opportunity to catch those 100 of more times if you blow your account today, FOMOing trades.
Right.
Tilt trading, different setups.
Right.
And so that mindset for me has helped a lot. If I see a setup, I hesitate, I miss it. I think to myself, crap, I missed it, but I'm not going to chase this because if I do, I'm going to hurt my psychology.
Right.
I'm going to likely lose money, hurt my account, and I'm not going to have the ability to catch that setup the next time it comes in because of the mistakes I made now.
Well, let me ask you this rhetorical question. What's the underlying emotion in everything you just described? Fear. Fear is the biggest emotion that will kill traders. They're afraid of losing money. They're afraid of missing a trade. They're afraid of having a red day. It's the wrong mentality. It's the emotional part is very, very difficult for guys. Don't be afraid. Like we said before a couple times, if you hit a trade and your heart's pounding, it's fear.
You know where I think that fear comes in too is the identity part. A lot of people fear that if they lose a trade or lose 2 trades, that's going to become their identity. They take their losses as their self-identity as a trader. When in reality, you can't, whether you win trades or lose trades, it goes both ways. You can't win trades and say that's my new identity, I'm a winner.
Right.
Because then when you flip the script and you lose trades, which is going to happen,
right,
your identity becomes a loser, and that's a problem.
Well, for our lifetime and a lot of times with us men, we attach success with our identity, which is very difficult. As Christians, we attach our identity to God, and we let Him take care of everything else. And as a trader, you're spot on, and that's why I said if you detach from emotionally from the result, just knowing the process is the holy grail. The process, your strategy, how you enter, how you get out, how you risk manage, that's what's important. The results you can't control, but you control how you get in, and that's the most important. So if I take a red trade, but I am 100% certain I'd take it 10 times again, like you said, I'd take that trade 99 out of 100 times. Yeah, it went red, but I'd do it again. I 100% agree with that. If your setup's right, then I'd do it again and again and again. But I wouldn't, like you said, I wouldn't chase it. But detached from the result.
That's the only way that a system works.
Right.
You can't pick and choose, I'm going to follow the system today, but not follow the system tomorrow.
Yeah.
It only works when you follow it repetitively over and over and over again. And sure, there's going to be a trade or two you miss or don't take, or that intuition kicks in and you don't take it. But for the most part, you're trading the same risk principles, the same system, the same setups. And if you do that over and over again, and if you prove that system works, you have an edge and you're going to make money. Well,
like you said, the foundational work already sets that up. If you decided on a strategy, you stick to it, you back test it, you trade it over and over and over again in your sim. You go back and do replays and see what happened day after day after day and spend hours and hours and hours refining your strategy, and you don't bounce all over Discords. Find a Discord, stick to it, stick with the plan, stick with the traders, stick with the admins, listen to what they're saying. It's like super important education. Then you'll be successful. But I think a lot of traders say they go from strategy to strategy week after week. They're different strategies. Oh, I got to find the right strategy. No, you have to be a better trader. The strategy isn't the problem. You're the problem. And that's where that ego gets in the way. Oh, I just need a better strategy. No, you don't. You need to find one and get good at it.
And that's the issue I have with the whole, I call it the ICT cult. Is that with ICT, I get the concepts. It's all price action. It's price action that's repackaged to be very confusing, because the more confusing you make something, the more you can sell it for.
Sure.
So the more confusing words you use, the more complex you make a strategy. If you watch a 40-minute video and you end up saying, I don't know what the hell I just watched.
What was that?
maybe I can pay this guy $10K to explain it to me. That's, in my opinion, where a lot of that strategy leads. I understand some of the concepts. I get it. It's a fair value gap. It's the same thing people have been trading for years.
Yeah,
And the impulse
nothing
candle,
new.
higher volume, unfilled orders in there.
No, nothing new.
It just got repackaged into a into a very specific set of different principles that people can sell for a lot of money.
But if you've been around a while, you look at the various traders out there, the ones that are very successful, you guys and others, they're very simple.
Yep.
Their strategy is very simple. It's either it's levels, it's volume, it's price action, or fair value gaps. But it's very, very simple. It's only a couple of components, and that's it. And they look for that. If it doesn't happen, great. If it does happen, they take it, and that's the end. That's it. And it's very simple. And it's interesting. We get super complicated, and we come right back to the beginning, right back to a clean screen.
Yep.
And we're calm. We're not heart and pounding, and we're like, okay, didn't work out. Okay, next. Setup was great, so I'm not going to worry about it.
It all really just boils down to risk.
Yeah.
Being able to define your risk before each trade.
Right.
And keeping that solid dynamic R, where if you take 5 trades and the first 3 trades you lose 1 R, that means on the next 2, you got to make maybe 1 breaks even for 0 R. Then on the final trade, if you make 3 R, you're break even on the whole set of 5 trades. If you're consistently losing 1 R, losing 1 R, losing 1 R, taking profit at half of an R and then breaking even,
yeah,
you're still down 2.5 R.
Right.
But
right.
it's all math is what I'm saying. And if you look at it from a probabilities and a math perspective, things get much simpler over time.
Well, I mean, if like you mentioned before, I like a minimum 2R, 2 to 1 minimum. And so if I'm trading 10 times and I'm 60% green, I've made $12. If I'm losing 4 trades and lose $1, that's $4 lost. So I'm netting $8. That's my very simple explanation of why a 2R consistently letting let them run to your take profit, not moving your stop loss. It's very simple stuff, right? The math is easy, and you should be profitable. And if you calculate, if you're in a prop firm space, you're in an eval or PA, you're close to you're worried about the max drawdown. Just do the math. How much per trade? How many trades? 6 trades at 335 or whatever the number is. I want to keep it at that. That way, if I go on a 6 trade losing streak, I'm still good, or 5 or whatever. I'm still okay. I didn't blow the account. It's discipline over dopamine. Just do the math, reverse engineer it, and that's what I do.
Yep.
And that's how I started figuring, okay, I'm just going to do it this way. And it went profitable from there.
That's great.
Very simple. At the end of the day, it's very simple. It's not, but it is.
Completely.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Where do you think that your trading takes you in the next year? I always like to ask people, where do you see yourself January 1st of 2026? Where do you see your trading, and do you have any big goals?
I retired about 7 years ago from my career. What my wife and I have started to do is travel. One of the beauties of trading is it's not geographically restricted.
Yep.
So in June, I'll be in Paris and Dublin for the month. In October, we'll be in Tokyo for the month.
Wow.
And I'll be trading. I've already figured out, okay, what's the time zone difference, whatever.
That's crazy.
And I'll be on Team Bull trading because I just enjoy it. And, I can knock out, 6-figure years for an hour a day. I like that. And then for the rest of the day, I enjoy my wife and I enjoy traveling. And I'll visit, like I'm here in Denver visiting my son and his wife and 2 grandsons. And if you treat it like a business and you have an end goal and you apply the discipline, it can be very rewarding. And so for me personally, in January 1, I plan on just continuing doing what I'm doing. I don't plan on scaling up the prop firms too much. The prop firms are really funding the live account at this point and growing the live account and maybe leaning a little bit more that way going forward. But ultimately, I still want to be involved in the community. I still want to be around traders. I don't want to do it alone, whether I could or not. It can be lonely. and you can sit there staring at the screen all morning and not trade. That's okay. So there's a lot of, if I'm going to be there, I want to learn. I want to get online and listen to you guys and see some of the chats and just learn. I'm always learning. I'm not an expert at this. I don't think I'll ever be. I always want to be better.
That's the attitude it takes. You always, especially in trading, always have to be a student.
Always. I'm a burning desire to learn.
15 years in, doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, I was actually in the financial markets for 45 years. So I understand money. I understand what it takes. I've had 7-figure years. I know what, I don't go go starry-eyed if I have a 5-digit day or whatever the case is. That's fine. It's just another day. I'm green. I'm good. So shut it down and go enjoy my day.
Yep.
Go to the gym, which is around the corner from me in Laguna Beach, and have a nice day. So that's it.
Laguna Beach. I never even asked. You live in California?
Yeah.
California.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So you're up at 6:30 market open.
5:30 Pacific.
Wow.
I'm looking at charts. I used to get up earlier to see if the 5:30 news trade. I don't do that. I don't do that anymore.
Did you ever have a time where you experimented with individuals, penny stocks, nothing like that?
No, just stick with futures. That's it. It's too much fun.
I used to love penny stocks, man.
I know.
But
that's gambling.
I know.
That's a little nutty.
And that was back. I haven't traded a penny stock since 2021, so 4 years ago.
Yeah.
But after COVID, you would have names, man, that would go from 20 cents to $2 in a day.
I know.
20 cents to $5 in a day, thousands of percent. Which is just ridiculous, but you're really playing the casino at that point.
Right.
You got to be real careful, because what happens with these small companies, not to veer off topic, is if a stock is at 20 cents and it goes to $2, they're up, what is that? 1,000% in a day.
Yeah, no question.
And oftentimes that company will do an offering. They'll sell all the shares. They'll raise money on it, and then the stock plummets, and you get screwed in the process.
Well, one of the things they did back in the day was reverse mergers into 144s.
Yep.
Yeah. So we can talk another day or two on that. But but getting back, I didn't have any FOMO about those opportunities, because I saw them, and I saw people doing it who made millions. And that's fine. I wasn't there at that time, and I don't regret at all or whatever. So I just stick with the futures. Like I said, my son got me started in it with the prop firms, and we actually we text screenshots back and forth every morning.
Awesome.
Yeah. So and so it's been fun, because I've enjoyed doing it with him, because it's a way to connect with my son. Right?
For sure.
And that's been very gratifying. And but next year I'm going to keep trading, and just I re-upped another year with Team Bull, so that'll be good. I'll still be around. You still see chats from me, and God willing, and
see the consistent green days coming in.
Yeah, I hope so. I have posted some red days, and I haven't blown an account in a while, but I would encourage anyone who's blowing accounts consistently to think about why, journal, and say, what did I do? It's probably very simple, which Team Bull drills into your head every single day. You're over trading, you're oversizing, you're chasing trades, you're moving your stop loss, you're going into tilt. It's always the same things. So maybe you should think about that and don't do that. It sounds oversimplified, but that's what it is.
That's usually the solution. Even as one word, why? If you're doing the same thing over and over again, why?
Yeah.
If you've blown 10 accounts in the last 10 days, why? A lot of times traders will avoid the why, especially the younger guys, because when you confront the why, it's typically pretty painful emotionally. I'm impulsive, I'm impatient, I haven't dealt with my personal life trauma, whatever it may be. There's usually a why in everything you do as a trader.
This is an interesting way to look at it. Maybe I'm off base. Maybe you tell me your opinion. I think that prop firms have been like a drug to some of these young guys. It's too easy. It's a low cost of entry, right? $34, $17 if it's 90% off. The problem is people are like, well, if I blow the account, I'll just go spend $34 and get another one. The problem with that is, I would say to these young guys, let's suppose you bought 20 accounts and you're cut off. That's it. Those are 20 accounts for the rest of your life. You would guard them with it's just a completely different mindset. If you knew, well, if I just blow them, let's just go spend another $680 and buy 20 more.
Yep.
That's stupid. All of a sudden now you're 20 grand into it. What are you doing? You're just blowing accounts. You're not really learning trading if you're blowing accounts. You're just gambling. You're just trying to hit the home run. You're not applying the principles that you and the admins have grilled into everyone day after day after day. So there's something to be said for why so many people blow profit from accounts is because they're not applying discipline over dopamine. They don't treat it like it's their last 20 accounts and that's it. And you lose the entire opportunity for the rest of your life. Like if you only have one car, you take care of that car.
Yep. Completely.
You only have one body, you take care of that body. If you only had 20 accounts, you take care of those accounts. Treat it like the last 20 accounts you ever get. You might have a different approach.
You will.
Just saying, right?
And something I noticed too, obviously I owned a prop firm for a while. I was
Right.
looking at the back end numbers. What prop firms don't want is a group of traders that go for base hits, that manage their risk,
100%.
that consistently make money and don't go for the home runs. Because when traders go for home runs, they might hit it once, they might hit it twice, they might hit it 5 days in a row. But on day 6 or 7,
They'll blow
they'll
up.
blow all of it.
Yeah.
And that's how prop firms can consistently make their money. That's how they keep their edge. When traders are staying focused, they're staying consistent, they're choosing discipline, they're trading a system, that's when prop firms get in trouble.
Well,
That's when they start to worry.
I think that's important to realize that when you have copy trading available and you have 20 accounts, if you're up $150, you think, well, it's only $150. No, it's $3,000. Just stop and just keep hitting bunts and singles, and it'll add up. And if you apply the same thing before, so take your stop losses and you take profits, and you just keep hitting singles and doubles, it'll add up over time, large numbers over a period of time. You're not in it for a quick fix, right?
Yep, completely.
And we keep going back to the same old basics, which I wish everyone would stick with the basics. They work. There's a reason they work. So, yeah.
Don't got to reinvent the wheel.
No.
People think
no.
you often have to do.
No, absolutely. Stay in the community, learn, listen, shut up, go about your business, treat it like a business, and, don't be stupid. Don't be silly with your money. But think about it. If you only had 20 accounts left, you treat them a whole lot differently, right? Everybody. It's all you had. Now what do you do? Don't blow them because you're done.
And that's one thing. So recently Top Step implemented new rules where you can only buy 10 accounts a month.
Right.
I think that if every firm did that, obviously they would make way less money. But at the same time for the trader, it would make traders realize, oh, fuck, I can't just go full port anymore and go buy 20 more and 20 more and 20 more.
Right.
So I think that it would help traders a lot if there were those limits. Obviously, it would hurt the firms. It would hurt their edge because they rely on traders blowing up, buying, blowing up, buying, and rinse and repeating.
Yeah.
But with those limits, or even if you self-impose those limits, like you said, these are my last 20 accounts for the week.
But that's your mindset, right? That's your mindset. Just go get 20 more. Don't do that.
Yep.
Because then you won't treat it like you should. You won't trade like you should.
Completely.
Yeah.
So wrap it up here. I always like to end off with hearing a piece of advice that maybe you could tell your younger self, or maybe you could share with the audience that would help them in their journey. One piece of advice that's helped you would tell your younger self, or that you want to be remembered by. Kind of a loaded question.
Yeah, it's a very loaded question. I think I would encourage younger people to look at life or trading or anything in between as a lifelong journey. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. And think about the end result. And how, if I ask anyone like you asked me where I want to be in January 26th, great question. Like, where does J-Don want to be in 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? Where does Team Volt go from here? If you're a trader, what are you doing? Why are you doing it? What's your long-term goal? Do you have a family? What are you going to do with that family? Think about what you want. Think about who you want to be in 20 years and reverse yourself back and start doing those steps you need to get there. And then you're always adjusting, just like in trading. But a lot of people don't have life plans. And a lot of people don't have strong faith. A lot of people don't have, anything they're very subjective with. It's the next shiny object, right? Just stick to what you want to do. Get very, very good at it. I don't care what it is. Just be the best at it you can be, and just don't think short term. Think long term, because I can tell you, looking back at 68, that to me is just blows my mind. I feel 30, right?
You look 30.
But most people realize your mindset doesn't change, your body does. But your body does. You do realize when you get older, you only have so many sunsets, right? You only have so many. Don't blow them. Value your day. Cherish every single day. Like it's the last day you have, because it may be. I know it's very cliched, and we see this on holiday cards and memes and whatever. But until you've lived it, until you've lost a close family member or friend, until you've been to the cliff and looked over and said, "Ooh, I almost went there," you don't know. Don't learn it the hard way. Learn from other people. Get in a community. Get involved in a church. Get involved with other men. Have a get together every week. Have coffee and just talk as men, and you'll learn a lot of stuff. And the last thing I would say to you is, when you see guys online with the Lamborghinis and with the with the stacks and whatever, they have just as many problems as you do. You'd be stunned. As a pastor, I've seen people that you would think were doing great, and they're not. There's a lot of pain out there, so don't worry about where you are. Just worry about where they are. Don't evaluate yourself by what you see, and don't worry about what other people think of you, because you wouldn't care what people thought of you if you knew how little they did. They're not really that concerned about you. They're more concerned about themselves. Yep. So take care of you, take care of your family, take care of your faith, take care of your health, and the rest will take care of itself. The best way to be good for the community, for your group, for your family, for your children, is to be the best you. I'll leave with this. When I was younger, I was full of piss and vinegar. I thought I could change the world. When I've gotten older, I've gotten wise. I just want to change me. I want to be a better Jay, and that'll serve everyone else.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And one more thing, you mentioned that you're a pastor, and you gave me this wristband, which, thank you. It says WWJS, what would Jesus say? Why, what would Jesus say? This might be a silly question, but why, what would Jesus say versus what would Jesus do?
Because I think in today's world, conversation and social media is very important. So people are listening to a lot of stuff, watching a lot of stuff. So I think it resonates with younger people who are consuming a lot of audio, a lot of video, a lot of visual stuff and audio stuff. So when I say, what would Jesus say? You find that in the Bible. If you want to hear God's word, read the Bible. If you want to listen to it, read it out loud, right? I mean, ultimately, we want to know what God says, what Jesus says. And as a pastor, my view is that the comfort as a Christian, my comfort in life is knowing where I'm going. I know my exit, and completely. I'm thrilled. I mean, that gives me such enormous peace. I'm not afraid. I would go today. I'm ready. I'm really ready. I would miss my family, but I'm ready. I mean, so all I want to do between now and when I die is share the gospel where there's an opportunity, bring as many people to Christ as I can, and live a godly life. And people would say, I want what he has. What's going on? What's going on with him? He's a little different. And live that life. So
I'm on the same page, man. You'll notice that I say God bless pretty much every
all
day.
The time. I hear you.
I'll get the occasional message, leave religion out of it. And I say, if you don't like hearing it, respectfully, you can leave.
Right.
Because this is what I believe and this is who I am. And I'm a proud, God-fearing man. So if you don't like that, you're entitled to your opinion. But I'm not going to change what I'm saying and how I live and the message I want to spread to appease you.
The only person's opinion I care about is God's. At the end of the day, I don't worry about, if you like me, you like me. If you don't, okay, that's cool. Yeah. I'm good with that.
Yep.
I'm not worried about it too much. I mean, I don't want to be a jerk, but I mean, I'm not here to make you happy, or
Yeah.
you know, I can't make you happy. You know, I can't make you like me. I just can do what I do and be who I am. I hate the word authentic, but I mean, you are who you are, and just don't be different. Don't try to be something you're not.
Yep.
And you're very genuine. Everyone all your admins are super genuine. I mean, you know exactly who they are. If they walked in, I'm sure they'd be the exact same person they are on the stream, on the Zoom, the exact same people. And that authenticity comes out, and that's something I think is really cool. Because other guys are full of baloney. They're promoters. They're entertainers.
There's a lot of fluff on the internet.
A lot of stuff.
Lots of fluff.
I like that you guys are very genuine, very real, and you know exactly what you're getting every morning. It's not going to change. The consistency is really cool. And what do we count on every morning? Good morning, Depot! I said one morning, I said, I don't know what coffee he's drinking, but I want a pound or two of that.
A lot of black coffee, medium roast.
Yeah, and
maybe some espresso,
and maybe your sauna or whatever. But you are fired up. That's so cool. And it was like, okay.
Got to bring the energy to Team Bowl.
Yeah, that's cool.
Love
that's
what we do. So
yeah, Grizzly isn't going to fire anyone up. You know, he's very laid back.
I can't imagine Grizzly coming in and yelling.
No, what's wrong with him?
You okay, man?
Yeah,
Do I need to call 911?
But he's the epitome of simplified trading as well. He sticks to the plan, just like you. You stick to your plan.
He's great. I still remember when Grizzly and I first met back in late 2020, early 2021, and I just noticed in chat. I mean, there wasn't as many people back then. We had 500 or 600 or something maybe, but he was in chat every day. He was posting his trades. He was really smart, and I swear God put us together.
Yeah, for sure.
Unexplainable
That's
energy.
True.
How it came to me, how it came to be. And he, at one point, he got on voice with us, and at the time, he was working construction every morning. He was working overnights with construction.
Yeah.
So it'd be towards the end of his overnight, he'd be getting on voice, trading, and then going to bed after, which is just crazy to me. And it goes to show that no matter what situation you're in, no matter what age you are, ethnicity, whatever place in life you are, you can find your way with trading if you put in the work and if you have the right system in place.
I would say that the good traders out there, you and Grizz and others, with all due respect, you guys aren't any smarter, or I mean, you're not like
absolutely not
phenomenal people that are world class, whatever.
Absolutely
you just
not.
Stick to your business and do your business and do the right things. And I used to tell my kids this: you see spectacular results, you think I want that, but you don't see the enormous amount of unspectacular effort it took to get there.
Yep.
Everyone sees Michael Jordan shooting or you guys trading, whatever. You think, oh, I can do that. No, there was thousands of hours before you got to that point.
Yep.
A lot of work. Do the work. Then you get the results.
That's a great point you make. I say this all the time, but I make a lot of money trading. That doesn't mean I'm some genius.
Right.
I'm sure a lot of you guys are much smarter than I am. I'm not Mr. Know-It-All. I'm not some supernova of trading. I just follow my plan. I manage my risk, and I've stayed really consistent for 9 years now.
Right.
That's why I win. It's not that I'm some mathematical genius or I'm a quant of the charts. I just follow a system and stick to it.
I'd ask a young guy on Team Bolt, just do me a favor. Here's the plan. Give it 30 days. Do not deviate. Give it 30 days. At the end of the 30 days, reevaluate and see where you are relative to the previous 30 days and compare and see, what do you think? Probably works, doesn't it?
Yep.
At the end of the day. So, yeah.
Well, this has been great, Jay.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming on. I think this is going to be a big inspiration for a lot of people from their teens to their whatever age.
The granddads.
To the granddads.
I've got 7 grandkids, so.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Man. Well, hopefully trading gives you, obviously you're retired, but gives you even more time and experiences to share with them.
It's so much fun. I just enjoy it. And if I make money at it, that's a bonus. But I just really enjoy it. I really do. I enjoy the community. I enjoy everyone on there. It's just a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming on.
Sure.
I look forward to hearing about your journey.
Yeah, you too. Thanks very much. Appreciate it.